there's so many things that I think about as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the things that I didn't do, we weren't like well off. So there's a lot of things that my parents could not necessarily
Right.
just afford.
Right.
But I even just think of me as a kid, there was a lot of things that I probably just needed a little more of a push to like make me want to do certain things that I just didn't stick with it. But I think back as the adult, like thinking like, oh man, I had a chance to learn piano. Oh man, I had a chance to really learn like 2 or 3 languages. Oh, I could have did this. I could have did that. My dad took me fishing all the time. And, sometimes I wish he was a little bit more forceful on just like nurturing because I had a curiosity about fishing, but I just needed a little bit more of a push. Because now as an adult, I think about all the time of like going back and, I would love to find somewhere to fish right now, or even hunting. I had a chance from my daycare lady. Her husband used to hunt all the time. And I remember he offered me lessons. He was like, I could teach you how to hunt. And I got scared and, I backed away from it. But I think like, I wish I knew that.
That's right.
So I do think that the parents need to always kind of not only see like where their kids have that like desire, but also where there's a little bit of a hesitation.
That's right.
And just push them, just try it. Just try it.
That's right, man.
Beyond acting, though, I was gonna say, Wade, you and I have had conversations about different things and about the state of, I would say, our culture, not necessarily our economy or the government as a whole, but specifically Black culture. So beyond that, I'm just curious how it affects you, just everything that's happening right now with Black culture, all the. Well, I'll let you tell me how's it affected you. Oh. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to bring you down.
I mean,
Yeah, no, I'm not brought down.
You know what I mean?
It's just that's a really heavy question.
Yeah.
What makes it so much heavier? In Quantum, I'm sure you will relate to this, but it's how do I answer it? Not only just as a Black man, but as a light-skinned Black man.
Oh man. Absolutely.
And I hate to say it, but that changes everything.
It changes the whole outlook on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's weird because like I look at myself as a Black man.
Right.
I'm aware of my complexion, and I am aware of the certain benefits that it has granted me. I can admit that.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
But it complicates the Black man in me and how I truthfully want to answer that. So here I go. It has empowered me and it has hurt me at the same time.
Okay.
Wow. It has empowered me in the way that I feel more rooted in myself as a Black man. I feel more connected to the Black story. It has motivated me to want to learn more, to hear more about history, about the present, about what's going on with my people. Like I feel more connected in so many ways. But it has hurt me because within our community, it has also brought up a lot of animosity. It has also brought up a lot of confusion. People are more so asking the question now, like, what exactly is being Black and who exactly fits into that equation? I've gotten into the deep discussions about police brutality, and I've not physically been brutalized, but I've had a couple dark-skinned Black men kind of laugh at me, be like, you don't know, like, what are you afraid of? And it's like,
that's crazy.
When there's no one else around, brother, I have a lot to be afraid of.
Right.
Like, so it attacks so many different levels. Yeah, so that's how I would answer it right now. It's like I am empowered, but I am hurt at the same time.
Right.
It's
Man.
crazy as say that, man, because you know, like you said, as a light-skinned black dude myself, before I started becoming this suit and tie dude, quote unquote, before that, on the real, I used to be harassed a lot. You understand? Like for real. I remember when I had the hoodies on and construction boots and my braids and all that, walking down the block, boom, I'm getting stopped like that. Once I start throwing on that suit and that tie, I have never been stopped.
Yep, it changes. It changes.
I have never been stopped at all. And I'm like, damn. You know what I mean? And you're right. You know, another black dude that's my comrade, that's not a suit and tie dude, that's probably a construction worker, he's still getting stopped. And that animosity, between him and I.
Yeah.
Just because I put a tie on. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's like, he's looking at me like I am the oppressor.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? It's kind of crazy. So I definitely dig what you're saying, bro.
Yeah. And it just hurts because from my position, it's like for instance, just last year, I was driving the car that I had was a really nice car. Okay. And even though I'm, and this was one of the things that I was trying to tell the guys that I was talking about. I'm a light-skinned dude. I'm driving a really, really nice car, and I'm in a really nice area. Right. And I still get pulled over by a cop for no reason.
No reason.
And the first thing he asks me when he walked up to the mirror is this your car? That's the first, before he asked for my license or anything, he asked me, is this my car? And I said,
a black man can't own a nice car.
Right. And so it's moments like that then are a reminder of I may be light-skinned, but in the eyes of certain people, I am still black. There is no difference.
That's right, though. It's not. I mean, especially for white men in power, or even white women. Well, I don't know. I mean, my younger brother, he's light skinned. He's a good looking light skinned guy. So white women usually take to him. They kind of, they like him. But for white men, they find him intimidating. Maybe because he's taking their women, or maybe because he's just a black man, and that alone makes them afraid of him. But it's like when it comes to white men, it's like regardless of your complexion, you're still a black man. But I'm curious, what bothers me though is what I see is that you still have those same issues among your own race. It's not even just the white men that you have to battle. It is the black men that look at you as if you feel like you are somehow superior to them. That you somehow are, maybe, I don't know. Like, you guys tell me.
And don't get me wrong. I mean, the shoe is on the other foot too. I know other light-skinned men who get on this uppity, oh, black men just make us look bad and blah, blah. It goes both ways. So I don't want this to come off but it's the root of it is it's this competition between our own people.
Right.
It's almost like black people as a whole don't have nothing, and we're all just fighting for that one nugget of gold. There's a lot of polarization with everything right now in the modern age, and I think with homosexuality, it's the same thing. I think on the coastlines, for the most part, in black communities, we're more accepting. But there's still a lot of other regions where it's, you don't play that. Nobody plays that. And the reason why I know that is I've largely stayed away from, I really don't, as far as an actor, I don't seek other people's opinions on what's going on.
You, for real.
So I really don't overall, I don't know, but I did get some throwback from some family members who are Midwest, Southern, traditional church.
Interesting. Very interesting.
So, and it wasn't anything, of course, hateful, but it was coming from a place of what you doing, boy? What was that about?
Gotcha.
So was like, oh well, see, like some people still trip. Like
Right,
it's still a thing some places, I guess. But you know, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna
right,
do?
right. You got to eat, baby. You know what I
You
mean?
gotta
They
eat.
understand. You got to eat.
Yeah. But and it's not even, it's also like, for me, people don't understand the idea. You know, some people are still caught in this idea of like, well, you're straight. How can you play gay? Like, how can you do that
You're good at
whatsoever? And it's like, yeah, okay, so you're telling me guys who have played pedophiles are pedophiles, or guys who
right,
have played
right,
murderers are murderers. Like,
right.
there's there's nothing wrong with exploring if it is for um understanding. You know,
Right,
I can admit that before playing Michael, I was never homophobic, but I
right,
definitely had my biases. You know, I definitely had my unknown,
right,
or I would say unconscious,
Yeah.
right,
Right.
opinions about it,
right,
right?
right,
But
right.
having gone through this whole process, man, it's really opened me up, and really
Mm,
sitting in Michael, it's brought me
mhm.
to a new level of understanding and appreciation. And it's like
Right.
I wouldn't have ever found that had I just cowered away from the role and been like, nah, nah, bro,
Mm.
you didn't tell, nah, like you don't learn anything from doing that.
Right.
So this whole process has been more of a blessing than a curse. But if I'm going to get that with my own family members, then I know that there's a,
Right.
you know, cuss ton more people out there who feel the same way and are probably object to it for their own um, mishappenings.
That's right.
Yeah.
Portia.
Man, no, I mean, it's just, I know it's not easy. I know it's not easy, especially with, I mean, there I go again talking about Nigeria, right? But like, homosexuality is not accepted anywhere there. Like, it is
Wow.
very rare. There are a couple of people who, who have come out or even were transgender, and they're all over the internet. Like, they're Instagram famous, but it is not accepted, and I think it's like that for almost most Western African countries. So
Mm.
it's like it's definitely something that for Africans who come to the States, they have to get used to it. They have to get used to
Hmm.
seeing it. They have,
Hmm.
whether they agree or not, that is not relevant, but you will
Wow.
see it, you will know of it. So it's like, if you plan on coming here, that's something that you have to be okay
It's
with.
a thing.
It is a thing. It is really a thing. It's just,
Wow.
I won't even get, it's a thing. It is a real thing. So so for the fact that you were playing Michael and you were playing a gay role, it's like I can only imagine what people in my home, people in Nigeria would think about that. Like, wow,
Mm.
this is a straight guy and he's playing gay. Like, why would he do that? But some people are a little more open minded, even if they themselves aren't gay, or they don't necessarily like. I don't even think a lot of people in African countries know what LGBTQ is. Like,
Wow.
Wow.
what is that? Like, they don't even know what that is. It's either you're gay or you're not. Like, you're gay or you're straight.
Mm.
That's it. There's
Really?
no acronym. There's no letters. There's no nothing. But there are a few I think that are open minded enough to understand that it's not easy, especially
Yeah.
like just for people in the LGBTQ community. It's not easy, but specifically for you as a straight man, having to not having to, but choosing to play that role and dive into that mentality and for yourself to try to process everything that you needed to process in order to successfully play the role. So like I understand
Yeah.
Hmm.
it is not easy, and it's interesting how I can I have two sides of the coin, you know what I mean? Like, so I'm from the US where it's more or less accepted. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
But I also have my ties to Nigeria where it is not accepted at all. It
At
is not
all.
accepted at all. So it's just like in my own mind, I am processing everything that you're saying from both perspectives. And it's
Right.
just wild. It is wild. And you have been able to see both sides of it. As a straight man, you know what it is like to live a straight life, but as a gay man, you've also had, I'm not saying you know what that's like because you don't
Right. I
actually live
never
it.
will.
You
But it's like a
still,
peek into it.
yes,
Right.
it's a
Right.
small
Yep.
look into that life,
Yeah.
that everything that comes with that. So I mean, kudos, seriously, because I know it's not easy.
Yeah. And it's another point to it, because there is a caveat, but it's also a caveat that ironically wouldn't have presented itself had I not had this experience, which is there are gay roles that I will say no to. I will say no to them. And the ones that I will say no to are the ones that I feel make more so a mockery of it, or roles that are thrown into shows to kind of fill some kind of quota, or the character is gay just for the sake of being gay. It's like, no, I don't want to play. And it's funny because that's how I feel. The same way that I feel about like as a black man, right? Like if I'm looking at a role and I feel like the character is just in there just to, again, fill some quota, just black for the sake of being black, or just a mockery, then I'm gonna say no to that. But it's weird that in also embodying this this gay man, I've also developed the same kind of like energy or awareness of that. Like if I'm reading a script or a breakdown and I'm looking at it, it's weird that it's like I'm looking at it from the eyes of Michael and being like, no, that's not right. Like that's not the right way of going about this. This isn't doing us justice. Like that's not the energy that needs to be out in the world. You get me? Like it's like this weird, like I'm not gay, but I can look at it through the eyes of this character who I had a chance to feel that and learn certain things to be able to identify that thing and be like, that's not good. I have to say no to that.
It's funny that you mentioned like black people, because we see it all the time. Like I love Christmas movies, right? So I watch my Hallmark movies and my Lifetime movies, but it just kills me that like the whole cast will be white, and just to avoid any trouble, they'll throw in a black side character. It's like Saturday Night Live made fun of it, and it was hilarious because it was so so true. Like to not get in trouble, to fill the void, you'll just throw in a black character so we would shut up, so we wouldn't complain. And it's like that character is not a main character; it's a side character. It's always the main female's best friend, or the main female's sister, or And then when we complained about having that black character that's only an assistant, they switched it up. So then you had these Hallmark movies where the only black character was the girl's boss. Oh, okay, that's better because she's a boss and not an assistant. But she's still the only black character in the whole movie.
All the background. Crazy.
And then they tried to fix it up, and they were like, let's get Holly Robinson Pete on here, and she'll do her own thing, and she'll have her own thing. Okay, great. That's one woman, and she's great. But you're just doing it so you don't get in trouble. Like the issue is still there.
Yeah.
So it's annoying.
It's this weird, it's this new dynamic in Hollywood that I'm sort of seeing, where overall it seems like there's this fear, okay, how do I say this? There's this fear still of mixing. And I see it still most in commercials. I applaud commercials that will show interracial couples, but largely you don't see that. I just booked a commercial where they made a point where it was two kind of like, well, she was like Latin, but she was like racially ambiguous, so she could have been like light skinned black, like you can't really tell. But it's clear that like, okay, we're the ethnic couple, they're the white couple, right? Like those are the spots. That's how they casted it. And there's just a lot of that. And I feel like the same thing is it's in Hollywood as well, as like there's just this fear of being like, let's just mix everybody up. Like let's just the gambit, let's have the lead is white, their best friend is Asian, and the other best friend is Latin, or just mix everybody up. There's still like this whole like it has to be packaged, and like all these people need to be here, and then we'll just like fit a couple here to kind of accentuate the whole thing. It's like, no, just mix it up.
Like, okay, but the fact is like they're still trying to just put ethnic people in commercials or movies or whatever to, you know, so people don't complain. But imagine, like, stop casting people based on color if it has nothing to do with color, like especially commercials where you don't, it's not specifically for Black people, like the commercial maybe isn't geared toward white people, whatever. If there is no real demographic, then when you cast these people, just write what you want the character to be about, not necessarily
Right.
what you want them to look like, but like
Yeah.
what you need them to be about, like their personality
No,
or something like that.
100%. I mean, that's the same thing that I'm saying, like about like the gay characters. It's like like unless it's really a story about the character and their struggles being gay,
Right.
it shouldn't matter what their sexuality is.
That's right.
I should never care. Like if that's a thing, then you hint it in the dialogue, you hint it in the actual story, but you never actually have to say what they are. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's not a point unless you're trying to, again, meet a quota, so you have to make it known. It's like like whatever. But yeah, it's the same thing with race. I don't care if they're like if the story isn't pertaining to some struggle or issue of their ethnicity, then I don't care what they are. Just tell the story.
Right.
And it doesn't matter who is playing that character. But
I mean,
unfortunately,
fortunately, what?
Unfortunately, there's always a motive. There's always something beyond just the story. Always a motive.
Always a motive.
There's money involved, and until we can find a way to get away from that, here we are.
Right.
This is where we at.
So question, Wade.
Where's last question? Last question.
So yeah, this is what advice would you give the teenage or 20-year-old Wade, or to frame it better, what would you tell the 20-year-old Wade to watch out for in Hollywood as a Black man? So it's kind of twofold, but you could probably frame it in one answer. What advice would you give him? And what would you tell the 20-year-old Wade to watch it for as a Black man in Hollywood trying to be put on as an actor?
Two things.
Cool.
One, that what you think it is, what you've always thought it would be, it's not that. It's not that at all. So be careful.
Right.
The second thing would be that you're going to be on your own.
Good one.
Don't think that you're going to have any friends or anyone's going to want to work with you or put you on or make things happen. You're on your own. And if you find that, cool. Like that's rare. Hold on to that.
Right.
But don't expect it. Do not think it's going to be there.
Right.
Because you're going to be let down and people are going to let you down and not give a shit.
Doggy dog.
Doggy dog.
Well put, brother.
You got to do what you got to do for you. And anyone who is there to support you along the way, like I said, is great, but just don't expect it. You got to just move and just keep moving and don't stop. And everything else is a lie, and be aware that it's all a lie, and just play the game because you have to get through, but it's not. It's a lie.
Got you.
Yeah.
Well put. Portia, take us out, baby.
I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say after that. It's like, well, there's some truth for you. Swallow that pill.
That's right.
Well, Wade, thank you, my love, for coming on here and hanging with us and talking to us. We appreciate it so freaking much.
That's right. You know, I think one of the this is one of the interviews that's going, kind of help us to creep up that subscription ladder.
For sure.
For real, So thank you, Wade. Mr. Wilson, you know what? On the real, I'm gonna actually tune into the show. You know, I asked my cousin about it because she watches it. I'm gonna watch it because of you right now, and you know,
For
see
sure.
you in your element, in your craft, brother. You know what I mean? I salute you, King. You know what I mean?
Thank you, King. Thank you.
Right. So
Thank y'all for having me. This was a pleasure, and I will stop by. I will stop by anytime. Yes.
check out the channel, you know what I mean? From Quan John, Portia Mystique, my man Wade F. Wilson, Sayonara, 100.